I declare that the 544th Convocation of McMaster University for the conferring of degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Dr. Robert Baker, Dean of the Faculty of Science at McMaster University. This morning, I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremonies and welcome you all to this convocation ceremony. Before we start our formal program, may I first ask everyone in the hall to switch off any electronic device that may ring or beep during the ceremony. I would like to now call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, to make her own welcoming remarks.
Welcome, honored guests, staff, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, graduands. This is an exciting day for all of you who are graduating today, as well as for all those people who have supported you and stood behind you, and in many cases have had a key role in your being here today. You have achieved a great deal to get here, and you should all be very proud of your success and looking forward to what the future might bring. Congratulations, and enjoy the ceremony.
I would like now to introduce Dr. Patrick Dean, President and Vice Chancellor, who will be presenting our honorary degree recipient.
Madam Chancellor, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Peter Calamai. Peter Calamai has long been a member of the McMaster family, having graduated from our university with a Bachelor of Science degree in 1965. With experience as editor-in-chief of McMaster's student newspaper, The Silhouette, Mr. Calamai began his career as a general assignment reporter with the Hamilton Spectator, where he displayed a particular talent for investigating and writing about subjects related to science. The Spectator, however, was just the beginning. In total, he worked for more than 4 decades with Southern News, then the Spectator's parent company, and at leading Canadian newspapers as a photographer, reporter, and editor, with postings in Ottawa, Vancouver, London, Nairobi, and Washington. He covered everything from armed conflicts around the world to the Supreme Court of Canada. He was perhaps best known as the editorial page editor of the Ottawa Citizen and the national science reporter for the Toronto Star. Mr. Calamai's volunteer work, particularly in the areas of science and literacy, has also seen him contribute at a national level. He has held or holds senior volunteer positions with organizations including the Science Media Centre of Canada, Environment Canada, the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council, Youth Science Canada, and the Canadian Science Writers Association, where he was a founding member. In 1998, he chaired the Word on the Street Literacy Festival in Ottawa. He has also served as a director for ABC Canada, as well as the Canadian Language and Literacy Research Network. As his journalism career flourished, Mr. Calamai always remained connected with teaching and scholarship. He has been the Max Bell Chair in Journalism at the University of Regina, and both a visiting associate professor and adjunct research professor of journalism at Carleton University. He has also produced a number of research projects, including a study that led to legal reforms to allow the use of tape recorders in Canadian trial courts. A 3-time winner of Canada's highest journalistic honor, the National Newspaper Award, Mr. Calamai has also received the Michener Award for Meritorious Public Service Journalism, the Peter Kirkby Memorial Medal, a UNESCO Literacy Award, and the Royal Canadian Institute's Sanford Fleming Award. His work has also been recognized with the Yves Fortier Earth Science Journalism Award from the Geological Association of Canada, the Science in Society Award from the Canadian Science Writers Association, and an award for distinguished reporting in atmospheric sciences from the American Meteorological Society. In 2012, he received the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal for his work in adult literacy. As a member of the McMaster Alumni Gallery and a winner of the MSU Alumni Association Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Calamai gave McMaster a new reason to be proud this past December when he was named a member of the Order of Canada. He is also a Baker Street irregular and one of Canada's leading scholars in the study of Arthur Conan Doyle and Sherlock Holmes. Chancellor, it is a privilege to present Peter Calamai, a McMaster alumnus, an award-winning journalist, a scholar, a teacher, and someone who, through his vocation and avocations, has worked tirelessly to ensure that Canadians have both the information and the ability to learn about and understand their world. I ask that you confer upon Mr. Calamai the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa.
Peter Calamai, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa in McMaster University with all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations. I would now like to invite Dr. Calamai to perform the convocation address.
Dr. Calamai, that would be me. Chancellor Labarge, President Dean, members of the faculty, proud parents and proud friends, and above all, you, the stars of today's events, the graduands. The paradox of my becoming a doctor of science honoris causa is not lost on someone who arrived at the university in 1961 aiming for a career as a researcher in physics, but wound up instead spending almost 5 decades as a journalist. I humbly thank McMaster for this singular honor. With that honor, however, comes a great responsibility, that of delivering a convocation address. For many of you, this may be the last time you have to listen while somebody dispenses supposed wisdom from the front of a hall. I was worried. What if I get it wrong? Then I realized that many of you will not remember who gave this talk. And if you're anything like my friends and my 30-something nieces and nephews, you almost certainly will not remember what was said. But you will remember if the convocation speaker droned on and on. After all, you are anxious to take part in an almost miraculous transformation. Seated here, you are graduands, an odd term derived from medieval Latin. Shortly, you will come up, you will be hooded, you will cross the stage, shake hands with the president and chancellor, and suddenly you have become graduates. And then you will leave the stage, and instantaneously you become alumni. Surely this is the most amazing metamorphosis in the entire biological world. 3 stages of development in about a minute. So in keeping with this example of brevity, I'm going to tell you just 3 stories from almost half a century of reporting. The time is May 1981, and I am in a neighborhood south of Cape Town, South Africa, called District 6. Most of the people who once lived here were a mixed race known as Cape Coloreds. But this location, with Table Mountain behind and ocean vistas ahead, was considered too good for non-whites. So in a large-scale ethnic cleansing, the apartheid regime evicted the 35,000 non-white residents of District 6 and renovated their homes for use by whites. However, places of worship were left untouched, as were cemeteries. A journalistic acquaintance is escorting me through a cemetery. It is overgrown with weeds because the one-time inhabitants of District 6 have been moved too far away to tend the plots. One particular grave catches my eye. It is for a child who died short of her second birthday, and the top edge of the memorial stone is lined with patent medicine bottles. Why is that, I ask? My guide explains that the family didn't have access to a doctor or to a hospital, so patent medicines were their only option. And then she adds, they wanted everybody to know that they had done everything in their power to help their child, and so left the bottles here. Now travel north to Uganda, where a general election is underway after 8 years of tyrannical rule by Idi Amin, during which hundreds of thousands died violent deaths, tens of thousands fled, many of them to Canada, and a once thriving economy was devastated. I'm at a polling station, an hour's drive outside the capital, Kampala, where Ugandans have been patiently standing under the scorching equatorial sun for hours, waiting to vote. In the lineup, a dignified black man in a suit coat is holding an umbrella for shade. His other hand, however, clutches a tattered copy of the chorister's music for Bach's Mass in B minor, which he is studying intensely. Now, I sing in the chorus of the Nairobi Music Society, so I asked the man about his rather unusual election reading material. He tells me that there are only a few copies of the music for the entire chorus, so each chorister has to memorize the words and music. If you sing in a chorus, you'll know how difficult that would be. He explains why. We believed that we had to keep glorifying God as our country suffered. Now cross the ocean to Canada and leap forward to 1993. I am on a flight from Toronto to Ottawa, and my seatmate is a woman who I judge to be in her 70s. That's my age bracket now, but it seemed quite old to me at the time. After takeoff, I take a peek at what my seatmate is reading. The book is in French, and it's about the 14th century. Now, since I have recently read A Distant Mirror, Barbara Tuchman's book about the 14th century, I strike up a conversation. My seatmate, whose name is Margaret, is revealed as a renowned Canadian medieval historian. By the time we land, she has agreed to devote an hour every morning for a month to taking part in the discussions of the editorial board of the Ottawa Citizen newspaper, over which I try to preside. Margaret turns out to be an outstanding guest editorial board member, politely skewering lapses of logic in editorial positions. She also turns out to be a forceful advocate for the rights of the elderly, something until then not much on the minds of middle-aged editorial writers. Her influence resonates in the paper's editorial stance for years afterwards. Now, you can derive your own lessons from these three stories. The lessons that I draw from them are, first, always do everything in your power to set things right. Second, even in the worst adversity, never abandon your beliefs. And third, remain open to learning and to new influences. That last lesson is especially relevant now that you're beginning a different and more challenging stage of your education, of your metamorphosis. I fully expect that you start this next phase of your lives with personal strengths that have been intensified by your time here at McMaster. They are critical thinking skills, determination, resourcefulness, and above all else, empathy. But most importantly, I am confident that you will have made new friends here at McMaster who will be your friends for life. friends who will offer support at the worst moments of your life and who will make the joyful moments even more joyful. And so, I wish you all good fortune and great friendships. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Dr. Calamai. It's just a pleasure to be able to provide one more honor to a distinguished alumnus. He represents really the best of what we can do. It's somebody who's never stopped asking questions, who can communicate extremely clearly, and for any of us who've read any of his articles, know that he can explain things to us in ways we can all understand. It's a skill that has allowed him to make changes in the world and to influence, and I think it just represents the best of what we have. On a more personal note, I want to thank Peter because, in actual fact, the last story he told you about Margaret, the medieval historian, she was my mother. And it just is just a delight to see the circle round as we come together today. So thank you.
Dr. Patrick Dean will now come forward to present the graduands to our Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduands please stand? Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable. May I also request that you confer the appropriate degrees in absentia upon all those candidates who have successfully completed the required course of study, but who are not present.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit those before me today and those in absentia to their individual degrees in McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all. Please be seated.
Graduates, I now ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you to the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that each graduate's name may be heard, it would be appreciated if during the presentation of the graduands, you would hold your collective applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy: Rupali Chaudhuri, Michael Gallus, Christina Colette Pierre, Sean Victor Collins, Heather Colleen McLeod, Kurt Christopher Cornelson, M.D. Manarazaman, Michael Wesley Leyland Son, and Jonathan Kwok Yu Lai. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science: Sindhu Bharathi Murali, Florence Ruth Wilson, Spencer Michael Savoy, and Nadia Baka Wong.
Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science Honours: Gail Abalajon, Soline Abdullah, Dana Abu Jazar, Sogol Afshar, Sadaf Sidra Agha, Sheepdeep Virendra Singh Arden, Rayas Ahmed, Noshin Alamgir, Hydra Ali, Nadia Nadira Alek, Robert Joseph Anderson, Mary Margaret Armstrong, Nikita Arora, Pooja Arora. Nedi Maria Goretti Asadu. Joan Christine Asuncion. Pelinsu Avtsi. Man I. Lisa Pachuri. Victoria Ban. Michael Jack Baran. Rachel Barnett. Robin Jennifer Beckett. Natalia Belinsky. Dominika Bacha. Meha Bhatt. Christy Bufadel. Valentina Dina Bozzetto. Christopher John Brazil. Taylor John Bronzovich. Carmen Victoria Brown. William Henry Biker. Judu Sai. Lachlan David Bruce Campbell. Daniel Thomas R. Canis. Valentina Cardozo. Stefania Ceresano. Cynthia Carman Chan. Rebecca Wing Yi Chan. Alicia Lee Ann Chin. Gideon Yung Sing Chow. Joshua Chun. Chelina Chiro. Christine Ann Clements. Kyle Joseph Commission. Daryl Patrice Cordis. Samantha Jessica Marie Cotterill. Dima Emily Couchman. Valerie Marlene Craig. Catherine Jane Crawford Brown. Elizabeth Jane Culp. Paritoshika Dabas. Lujain Khalid Dagmar. Hanai Charlotte Davis. Sarah Lauren De Tomasis. Jare Kwe Adel Adin. Yanan Ding. Rawan Disuki. Paul Anthony Divina Manoso. Natasha Domingue. Sejal Doshi. Alexander Ducrochet. Burke Akonak. Christine Eshak. Coral Emily Grace Fairhead. Kelvin Fernandez. Nicolette Diane Francis. Eric Albert Fraunberger. Damien Frakash Frederick. Vincent Fung. Nisha Mukesh Kajaria. Christopher Paul Galano. Maya Gamsiri. Natalia Dula. Christina Marie Genovese. Devora Rivka Goldberg. Jasleen Kaur Grewal. Emily Guan. Juliana Giuseppina Guana. Xenia Gueletina. Emily Bruce Gula. Kevin Go. Sanampreet Singh Goom. Michelle Marie Guzman Ratko. Kendra Susan Harbing. Raphael Hanna. Zishan Haki. Jonathan Joseph Harley. Brandon D. Hebor. Felicitas Ann Hockton. Shelby Leanne Hofstetter. James Homerson. Sally Hong. Sung Wook Hong. Brianna Lee Horlick. Caitlin Elizabeth Noel Howden. Amanda Gemma Henchuk. Danielle Koichi Se. Siki Huan. Ziqi Huang. Katie Huin. Mei Hua Huang. Ogaga Gubatello Levo. Valerie Maria Jabra. Sheyan Kanishka Yayatunga. Alicia Nicole Yazvets. Gildami Juade. Shifani Kadakia. Mohammed Imtiaz Karamat. Serena Kamali. Amil Kapinski. Bandeep Kaur. Dara Suzanne Kavanagh. Mohammed Kazem. Jasleen Kaur. Karandeep Kaur Karpal. Natasha Kular. Ben Kun Sagda. Henry Howland Coe. Anna Kovacevic. Kenneth Derek Crankendon. Alexander Matthew Kristalski. Adamas Kulesha. Michael Lahr. Ahmed Labib. Daniela Fiora Lato. Chloe Lau. Clement Wyson Lau. Kaman Sali Lau. Adrienne Lee. Hyun Ye Grace Lee. Sojung Lee. Wingfai Andrew Lee. Kathleen Lepick. Caitlin Lewis. Celine Sher-Ner Ling. Shu Wan Liu. Catherine Lobabio. Saijan Loganath Visangam. Jessica Lu Yong Ki. Matthew Chun Yung Nguyen. Michelle Lee. Katiana Victoria McIntosh. Robert Andrew Douglas Marchand. Victoria Marco. Alex Masati. Gavin Mast. Jacob Michael Anthony Martina. Yasmin Maurice. Olivia Mazurek. Mirella Christina Mazza. Thomas Christopher James McGill. Joshua Jacob McGrath. Madeline Ruth McKittrick. Ainsley Marie McNaught. Chelsea McNeil Dewar. Brian Andrew McFerrin. Ariane Marie Ella Metcalf. Jeffrey Daniel Minook. Matthew Ryan Mockford. Janine Ann Maloney. Clarissa Ferlin Montemayor. Brandon Anthony Moritin. Jasmine Kaur-Mundi. James Murphy. Casey Jane Myers. Monica Teteki Natai Ahuma. Akanksha Anil Nayak. Ivan Naive. Ahmed Negmi. Leslie Alex Newcomb. Judith Ho Yi Ing. Augustine Huang. Kathy Mai Nguyen. Kim An Dat Nguyen. Sarah Donna Shirley Norton. Mohammed Okasha. Hussein Oleg. Frank Joseph Ui Ong. Ria Umen. Jimmy John Palakunel. Rutu Punjabi. Jason Panthaki. Sean Joseph Parkinson. Samantha Angela Pasternak. Amisha Patel. Joshua Joseph Patel. Mohini Patel. Mauleshan Pathmaraja. Logeshwan Pavadai Pillai. Anna Petkovic. Stephanie Fan. Lauren Elizabeth Poulin. Nicole Pransevicius. Shreya Prashar. Valerie Prouse. Katrina Elora Puglia. Jared Ryan Radoslav. Bishoy Rageb. Amantha Raja Gobal. Nicholas Randoza. Shujina Rashia. Ivan Remes. Alan Robert Reum. Alexander Rice. Natalie Louise Richard. Courtney Lynn Claudette Riviere. Joseph Keegan Roberts. Calvin William Russell. Marley Jazz Russell. Moira M. Ruthla Lingam. Patrick Ryan. Ramdeep Saini. Soumya Saini. Fadi Salumi. Yapa Himeshi Samarasingh. Natasha Deep Sandhu. Reda Sangai. Meloja Satkunam. Nicholas A. Savitskas. Garrett John Schulenberg. Cassandra Schjoli. Andrew Martin Scott. Joshua Peter Sato. Ushma Shah. Tiffany Su Yu Shin. Arthur Oscar Sieron. Sanpreet Kaur Sihota. Maninderjeet Singh. Nicholas Alexander Singh Pittersgill. Tharushana Sivapalan. Adam Antonio Civitelli. Caroline Smith. Alana Grace Smolars. Patrick Konrad Sobczynski. Susie Son. Michael Anthony South. Sarah Elizabeth Stewart. Jacob Walter Douglas Strong. Minomi Kalpana Subha Pandita. Justin James Sefrin. Banu Sundaralingam. William James Sutton. Calvin William Tang. Chen Yu Tang. Monique Tadif. Shahan Tariq. Lindsay Taylor. Vituni Thava Pragasam. Antoinette Thavaraja. Danaya Tharaparan. Tiffany Tian. Kelly Kim To. Stephanie Tomkin. Catherine Emma Tusor. Julian Maria Tofstiga. Alice Tran. Ashley Tran. Jonathan Tran. Catherine Tran. Tai Ving Trong. Angela Pre Tryon. Austin Singh. Lauren Elizabeth Twibble. Chandak Upagupta. Taylor Beverly Valet. Brendan Vaz. Vashni Valapthipai Pillai. Trevor Alexander Wade. Victoria Valaschik. Glenn Franklin Wilson Walpole. Hua Sheng Wang. Mohen Wang. Nahid Wazed. Cassandra Jin Wong. Edwin Wong. Godfrey Wong. Stephanie Wong. Ellen Shu. Julian Yabbit. Ruth Yan. Jin Weng Yang. William Yang. Nicole Yu. Lester Chi Kit Yuen. Xiaoling Zheng. Kimberly Rose Zupfer. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science, Kinesiology Honours. Uksar Ahmed. Osama Altayeh. Grazia Lisette Alanese. Ruba Al-Sher. Alexandra Jane Anthony. Hamad Akil. Elizabeth Barr. Sarah Bierstow. Mark Beguin. Anastasia Stefania Maria Berezovsky. Jordan Bierema. Kelly Jane Elizabeth Bishop. Taylor Black. Brandon Matthew Breuer. Kevin Michael Brooks. Brittany Carlton. Nicole Felicia Chan. Si Yu Chan. Colin Chow. Irene Chow. Alexandra Chen. Jem Louise Cheng. Nicole Yik Kai Chang. Mackenzie Robert Chown. Alicia Nicole Christo. Michael William Chancone. Jessica Tso. Bailey Coho. Sarah Michelle Coletti. Kyle Dean Conahan. Sydney Jennifer Corcoran. Nicole Sear. Victoria Rachel De Silva. Yasmin Panik de Groot. Alexandra May Dillon. Victoria Ann Di Sabatino. Tiffany Jugan. Sarah L. Samak. William Robertson Farr. Hunter Fassett. Melissa Lauren Featherston. Nicolette Anna Garcia. Natasha Marie Christine Green. Aaron Gregory Hall. Laura Holsworth. Emma Olivia Harness. Joshua Lloyd William Heath. Corey Healy Masters. Anastasia Hepburn. Sarah Herati. Claire Marie Higgs. Brett Richard Gnatio. Jane Huang. Mandy C. Adele Calderway. Nadine Kassir. Kayla Elizabeth King. Heather Kinsey. Aaron Robert Kipp. Molly Coider. Nicholas Kuiper. Ka Yi Joyce Kwan. Andre Lambert. Lara Kalina Lapczynski. Trang Li. Alexander Danilo Deli. Renee Alethea Lindo. Amy Lloyd. Katia Eleni Lopez. Gillian Liu. Taylor Nicole McMillan. Kylie Diane Notaro Mallory. Matthew Dean Muscola. Nicole Mazzara. Jordan Alexander McCall. Christine Suzanne McCauley. Deirdre Marie McDermott. Cara Elizabeth McPherson. Ariel Mendoza. Haley Moore. Amanda Elizabeth Morin. Shonda Pearl Morrison. Danish Mohamedin Mula. Emily Nicole Murphy. Matthew Scott Nichol. Gregory O'Grady. Brianne Lynn O'Rourke. Isaac Oleos. Emily Marie Paolucci. Urvi Patel. Alicia Dawn Petrie. Courtney Dawn Postma. Stacey Priest. Bethan May Puller. Matthew Jacob Rayleigh. Erin Christina Romutar. Matthew Reinold. Jenna Taylor Richardson. Thomas Rickus. Michael Anthony Rizzuto. Danielle Marie Rogerson. Mark Rutledge. Reem Sakran. Merna Magdi Alfi Sami. Nicholas Amleto Savateri. Stephanie Marie Scaglioni. Rachel Schwint. Anthony Shah. Saif Shamshun. Melissa Samantha Shears. Nicole Yinyi Shen. Daria Shkredova. Melissa Susan Siradsky-Jones. Jessica Skulteti. Christine Charlotte Saint-Hilaire. Gregory Nolan Stoltz. Natasha Nicole Stas-Hundal. Natalie Tadros. Jack Tang. Cyrus Tim Thomas. Camila A. Thorne Chumsland. Jonathan Valencia. Lisa Gillian Van Osh. Tiffany Louise Van Lieshout. Christopher Gregory Wavell. Michelle Ann Webb. Carly Elizabeth Wilson. Jonathan Wiseman. Tiffany Wing Yin Wong. Shannon Elizabeth Wook. Courtney Irene Wood. Matthew Anthony Wooters. Kendra Young. Bradley Zdriluk. Melissa Lynn Zygmunt. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science. Ali Imran Alwani. Elilan Ganasathas. Mercedes Elizabeth Maybe. Briar McIntyre. Aaron James Richards. Hannah Megan Scherstrom. Fatima Hosai Suleiman Kil. Tony Zhao. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science Kinesiology. Philip Botero. Emily Judith Stevens Gould. Roman Kashchi.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce Ms. Juliana Guarna, a Bachelor of Science honors graduate who will be delivering the valedictory address.
Hello, fellow classmates, family and friends, Chancellor, and esteemed faculty. I would like to thank you all for being here to share this moment with the McMaster Faculty of Science class of 2015. As we stand here waiting to receive our diplomas, we can hold our heads high and be proud of this accomplishment. So congratulations on making it to this day. I know that many of you have been asked the question, what are you going to be doing next year? And at the very least, now you can say, well, I am a scientist. But what does being a scientist even mean? I'm sure we can all fondly recall the first time we held our lab coats, seeing a physical representation of the potential that lay ahead of us. As we waited for that first day in the lab, our minds were filled with nervous energy. Or if you had to sign up for biology skills labs, you just felt the nervousness of fighting off hundreds of other first years in a tiny little hallway. But in all that nervousness, we also had a sense of wonder. And that wonder is arguably what draws us to science. We're curious. We don't accept the world at face value. We question and ponder the information that we are presented with. How could a scientist not be in a permanent state of wonder when you realize that signal cascades happen in nanoseconds, or that you finally understood the theory behind the elusive E equals mc squared? But science isn't always sunshine and lollipops. Some days you wonder why you're running a Western blot for the 100th time, or why you can't quite solve a differential equation. As Albert Einstein once said, most people say it is the intellect that makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. I'm sure there are many of us here today who still don't know where we will be next year or what we will be doing. And sometimes it feels like we might have failed. But failure is the breeding ground of self-discovery. And it's at this point in our lives that we're surrounded by uncertainty. But don't look at it as a series of question marks. I urge you to look forward to your future as a string of exclamation points, a series of exciting things that are waiting to happen. Take a moment to reflect on how much you've changed and grown since your first day on campus. You were likely nervous and uncertain of what lay ahead of you, but by pushing through that uneasy feeling, you have landed here, a graduate of one of the greatest schools in the entire world. And if that doesn't do it for you, at least you can hold your head high knowing that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. To you, my fellow graduates, I ask that today when you hold up your diploma that you be reminded of the journey that you've undertaken to arrive here. Let it serve as a reminder of your hard work and your dedication. Let today be a day full of celebration and great pride. As you look around you, be reminded of the people you have met, the connections that you've made, and the time that you've shared within this community. While today is a launching point for your future endeavors, be they exciting new job opportunities, moving across the world, or continuing your education, be reminded of the foundation that this degree has given you. I will also challenge you to never let your curiosity wane. Never let that feeling of bewilderment fade. With every new opportunity, challenge yourself to push your boundaries, to live for the moment, and to harness the potential that you know you have. Above all else, never forget that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, McMaster will always be your home. Congratulations, class of 2015. We've made it. The world is exceptionally fortunate to have you.
May I again call upon our President, Dr. Patrick Dean, who will present the President's Award for Outstanding Contributions to Teaching and Learning.
Would Dr. David Shaw please come forward? Dr. David Shaw received his BSc Honours Psychology from McMaster in 1991 and returned to his home department as an assistant professor in 2001. He is now a full professor and associate chair undergraduate in the Department of Psychology, Neuroscience, and Behavior. Over the past 14 years, Dr. Shaw has established himself as an internationally recognized researcher specializing in the areas of human perception and cognition. His research on attention and memory has been funded by the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada and has resulted in an impressive list of published articles in major journals and books. Like most young research professors, Dr. Shaw recognizes that in the first decade of his career, his primary focus was on his laboratory work. These are quotes. "I saw teaching as a distraction. I enjoyed teaching, but could not devote the time necessary to do my best. Over the years, I improved my teaching, but it still did not fire my passions like a well-designed experiment or a new set of data." End of quotes. These are honest sentiments shared by many young research professors. They were hired to help establish McMaster as an internationally recognized research university, and they succeeded. But Dr. Shaw's career experience at McMaster also illustrates the power of teaching and mentoring some of Canada's best and brightest students. In his role as undergraduate chair, he led a group of colleagues in a major revision of the curriculum taken by hundreds of specialists in the Department of Psychology, Neuroscience, and Behavior. Here, Dr. Shaw found his passion for teaching. He could instill in these students his love for psychology as a science. Students could be involved in the research experience from their very first year and gradually develop the skills and knowledge needed to think scientifically. They learned to use scientific reasoning, to evaluate ideas through experimentation, to understand what constitutes reliable evidence through the power of statistical analyses, and to communicate science in written and spoken language accessible to specialists as well as general audiences. These skills are valuable beyond the classroom and laboratory in understanding the complexities of human life. For the past 4 years, Dr. Shaw has taught courses on writing and on attention and perception in this new curriculum. All 4 classes of students submitted letters describing Dr. Shaw's impact on their learning and university experience. Dr. Shaw's nomination for the President's Award came from a student in the program's first cohort. He captured the initial student response to Dr. Shaw's teaching methods and values as follows, a quote, "They are way too demanding and therefore unfair." However, he then went on to discuss his own awakening. Dr. Shaw taught him to be the best he could be. Another quote, "Being good isn't enough. Being the best you can be should be your goal. Failures lead to learning and improved performance. Dr. Shaw is tough, but that leads to learning in already good students. Dr. Shaw explains to his students why he pushes them so hard. He knows they can do better and wants them to reach their potential. They come to appreciate the effort he takes to lead them toward their career goals." End of quote. In summary, Dr. Shaw exemplifies the integration of teaching and research that makes McMaster both a research-intensive and a student-centered university. He is a most deserving recipient of a President's Award for outstanding contributions to teaching and learning. David, congratulations. A really deserved honor.
Madam Chancellor, McMaster University has been granted 2 academic medals by the Governor General. This medal is awarded annually to the undergraduate student graduating with the highest academic standing. This year, Elizabeth Culp is one of the 2 recipients of the Governor General's academic medal. I ask that you and all those present join with me to express recognition of her achievement.
That's very well done.
I would now like to present the Jensen Medal, which is awarded to a student for demonstrating outstanding academic achievements in biology and pharmacology. It is with great pleasure that I announce that this year's winner is Brian McFerrin. May I introduce Mr. Ian Cowan from the McMaster Alumni Association, who will now deliver the Alumni Association address.
Chancellor Labarge, President Dean, McMaster faculty, fellow alumni, honored guests, and members of the McMaster class of 2015. The McMaster Alumni Association is both a custodian of tradition and a champion of the next big thing. That's you. We represent equally the grads who have been part of the Mac family for 8 decades and the 35% of Mac alumni who were born after the release of E.T. and Rocky III. The Alumni Association must be knowledgeable about the McMaster Ladies Literary Society. I can't even say it. Yes, that was once a thing here, as we are about Mac Green or the Queer Students Community Center. But while we are immensely aware of all these changes, we also know that many things in the Mac alumni family are constant. Good advice, for example, is often timeless. So I'd like to read to you from a message written by our university president to McMaster's newest alumni long ago. I think the message would be as applicable 6 or 7 decades ago as it is today. Good alumni, he wrote, are a combination of advertisement, scout, correspondent, and benefactor. They are advertisements because of their own achievements and success in profession, business, or in public reputation. It is a priceless contribution that graduates can make. Alumni who are good scouts, in the sense that they are always on the watch for good students to direct to McMaster, are invaluable assets, and many graduates can do much to guarantee succession. To be good correspondents means simply keeping in touch with the alumni office in such matters as change of address and personal news about occupation and family. And beyond this, there is the opportunity to join the noble company of benefactors who help to guarantee that coming generations of students will have better facilities than we had in our day. Members of the class of 2015, these are the words of your president, President George Peel Gilmore, and the passages I read are from a message he wrote for the April 1951 edition of the McMaster Alumni News. Today, his overall message certainly is relevant, but the tools that the Alumni Association uses are far more varied than they were just 6 years after the end of World War II. In your lives as alumni, you will receive the Alumni Magazine and the McMaster Times, which wouldn't seem out of place in the 50s. But you can also be part of the association's online community. Follow the association on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Flickr, or access value-added services like home, auto, and life insurance. You can also join your fellow alumni at one of our hundreds of events that we organize annually in Hamilton, across Canada, and around the world. Follow the advice of your new friend, Grad Mac, you met backstage. Complete the How Maroon Are You quiz, and then visit mac10.ca to learn about all the opportunities for new grads. I'll stop the sales pitch there. I do hope, however, that you will participate somehow at some time. When you are ready, the McMaster Alumni Association will be there for you, offering a wide range of ways to find your path back to your alma mater. I've been involved with the Alumni Association for many, many years in one capacity or another, and I've always found it most enjoyable and rewarding. So to the class of 2015, I offer my most sincere congratulations on your academic accomplishments, on your graduation, and on your first moments as members of the McMaster Alumni family. Congratulations, welcome, and remember, once a Marauder, always a Marauder.
May I invite Dr. Dean back to the podium to deliver his President's Address.
Graduates, your class valedictorian, Juliana, spoke a little while ago about what it means to be transformed into a scientist, to discover the urge to ask questions and to seek answers, and to keep doing that as you move on from your university career to the next stages of your lives. There was, when she spoke too about a future of question marks and the need to transform it into a future of exclamation marks, nevertheless some excitement, because there is always excitement around the uncertainty of what is not known, either about our futures or about the world. Also, in reading the citation for Dr. Shaw, I described there what is in many ways an exemplary vision for the McMaster scholar, someone driven to very serious research and to continue to ask questions, but who was capable of turning this into a very exciting and effective learning experience for students. And I wanted to pick up a number of those themes that have already been raised in my remarks for you today, because it cannot have escaped your notice that you're leaving McMaster at a time when the value of a university education, and by implication the obligations of institutions like ours, is being hotly debated, not only here in Canada, but elsewhere in North America and in Europe as well. And broadly speaking, the argument one hears in Ottawa, in Queen's Park, and to a very large extent in the mainstream media, is that universities need to be more responsive to the policy-driven demands of government, that they need to be focused above all else on preparing young people to enter the workforce, and that they need to concentrate on the immediate needs of the economy as well as the short-term career aspirations of the graduate. Now, its critics dismiss this as a narrowly instrumental approach to higher education, and they argue for a much broader view in which the aim is not merely to train, but to educate and to excite the student. As you leave the university today, I hope you feel well prepared to take up the cause for that latter view. A university is a university precisely because it does not exist to serve short-term societal or economic goals exclusively. Institutions like ours operate on both the short and the long horizon. On the one hand, they train students to go out into the world with both general and specific skills necessary to the well-being of society. They work with contemporary problems, and they render appropriate the discoveries and understanding that they generate. On the other hand, they forage in realms of abstraction and domains of inquiry that may not appear immediately relevant to others, but have the proven potential to yield great future benefit. Those last words come from a document issued nearly a decade ago by the League of European Research Universities. But their equivalent is to be found in another document, the Magna Charta Universitatum, which McMaster University signed in 2014. There we are told this, a quote, "Freedom in research and training is the fundamental principle of university life, and governments and universities, each as far as in them lies, must ensure respect for this fundamental requirement. Rejecting intolerance and always open to dialogue, a university is an ideal meeting ground for teachers capable of imparting their knowledge and well-equipped to develop it by research and innovation, and for students entitled, able, and willing to enrich their minds with that knowledge. You have demonstrated yourselves both able and willing, and you have undoubtedly been enriched in ways that are apparent to you today, and in other ways of which you are probably unaware and which will reveal themselves in the many years to come. But in the context of this present debate about the purpose of universities, narrowly instrumental on the one hand or broadly educational, I wonder how many of you are aware that behind the program of study each of you has pursued, however narrowly defined that program may of necessity at times have seemed to you, stands not a consensus curriculum developed by ministry bureaucrats indifferent to the intellectual assets and missions of individual institutions, but instead a record of research and reflection, particular to McMaster University and to the scholars who work here, both to educate you and to advance their disciplines through research conducted to the highest standards. At McMaster, As at any research-intensive institution, we regard the work of educating students and of extending the boundaries of knowledge through research as inseparable and mutually reinforcing activities. However much we may endorse the notion that institutions like ours exist for the advancement of the nation's well-being and must therefore be contributors to societal and economic development, we demur at the narrow or reductive application of that idea. We do not accept, in other words, that the value of the university consists entirely or even principally in its ability to deliver outcomes as mandated by government from time to time. This is not to say that we're indifferent to those outcomes or that we will not work to deliver them. Instead, it means that we are and must always be focused on the bigger picture of the individual and the longer view of our society. We offer education rather than job training. We're interested in asking questions, as Juliana pointed out, as well as applying the answers we have found. We strive to maintain dynamic connections between theory and practice, wisdom and technical knowledge. And we approach the world with a desire to see and to understand it whole. Coincidentally, that means that universities are exactly what a knowledge society needs, and the outcomes mandated by government will in all likelihood be delivered. But that does not mean that the value of universities is reducible to the sum of social, economic, or governmental needs at the present time. You, more than almost any other students graduating from the university this year, will have had experiences during your time at McMaster that opened a window on the kind of place this is, on the kind of activities above, beyond, and yet integrated with your experiences in the classroom that define us as an institution and that proclaim us as a university. Some students may have watched an intervention in a clinical setting that was original, effective, and clearly influenced by their professor's research. Other students may have visited or even worked in their professors' laboratories and imbibed firsthand the patience and discipline required to conduct meaningful inquiry, as well as the excitement of discovery. You may have sat in surprised astonishment as your instructor in any field ascended into the intellectual stratosphere, the issue then under discussion having intersected with his or her decades-long mental engagement with a particular aspect of the subject. These are the epiphanies by which the research life of the university discloses itself to its members every day, even to those members whose degree requirements do not allow much lateral investigation, whose focus is comparatively narrow, prescribed in some cases by accreditation, or simply very technical. But were you to set out to explore that research life of the university in all its richness, you would discover why it is that McMaster has for years been consistently ranked as one of the top 100 universities in the world, and why your degree from this institution will bring you respect, recognition, and yes, the things we all want from our lives, the potential for a successful career and a lifetime of learning and discovery. Even if you're not always aware of it or able to articulate what it means, you are the product of a research-focused institution, and one no less student-centered for being so. And the ethos of such an institution, with its focus on curiosity, investigation, evidence, and analysis, is precisely that which equips you for long-term success in your life beyond the ceremony, even as that future at the moment looms with many question marks. If, prompted by those in-class epiphanies which I mentioned, you were to begin more systematically to probe the research dimension of McMaster, it's interesting to reflect, where would your journey take you? It might take you into any one of our more than 50 research institutes and centers, from the Michael G. DeGroote Institute for Infectious Disease Research to the Brockhaus Institute for Materials Research, from the McCann Child Center for Childhood Disability Research to the Center for Functional Genomics, from the Center for Peace Studies to the Farncombe Family Digestive Health Research Institute, from the Gilbrea Center for Studies in Aging to the Institute on Globalization and the Human Condition, to the McMaster Center for Music and the Mind, or the Origins Institute, or the McMaster Paleogenetics Institute, or the Offord Center for Child Studies. I could go on. You might want to investigate such facilities as the high-throughput screening laboratory, the electron microscopy facility in the Faculty of Health Sciences, the McMaster Nuclear Reactor, the William J. McCallion Planetarium, the Canadian Center for Electron Microscopy, the Geographical Information Systems Laboratory. Do you know that in the basement of the Mills Library can be found one of the most outstanding scholarly resources in Canada, the William Reddy Division of Archives and Research Collections? There you will discover manuscripts, radio and television scripts and correspondence by the Irish playwright Samuel Beckett, the papers of Canadian historian Pierre Burton, 36.5 linear meters of manuscripts, diaries, and other materials relating to Vera Brittain, the British writer, lecturer, pacifist, and feminist. You'll also find the papers of Farley Mowat and a host of valuable and illuminating documents vitally important for primary research in literature, history, music, cultural studies, business, and many other fields. An occupying pride of place in the basement of Mills Library are the Bertrand Russell Archives, an unparalleled collection of primary and secondary materials relating to Bertrand Russell, the British philosopher, logician, and essayist who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950. Visit Mills and you can sit at Russell's desk. You can peruse his library. You can admire the wing chair in which he sat to read, and you can explore the world of 20th century politics, literature, and culture. The Russell Archive is a priceless resource for research in the humanities, in history and politics, and like the labs, centers, and institutes which I listed for you, it stands as testimony to the seriousness with which McMaster University has committed itself over the last 128 years to the discovery of knowledge. It embodies, facilitates, and testifies to that broader view of the university's mission to which I referred at the outset, insisting by its presence that we not concede to the narrowly instrumental role governments in our society would, from time to time, seek to impose on us. The Russell Archive literally does testify to the importance of that broader view. For in Russell's writings, you will find a description of the goal of the university, which I hope you will always remember, and which I hope you will seek to uphold as you establish yourselves in your careers and claim your rightful place as leaders in our province, our country, and beyond. In an essay from the late 50s entitled University Education, he wrote this about the goal we all pursue. Truth is a shining goddess, always veiled, always distant, never wholly approachable, but worthy of all the devotion of which the human spirit is capable. Your university education may have trained you in a specific area and particular skills, but its unique and longest-lasting gift to you will be to have kindled your curiosity about truth and your joy in discovery. It is important to say these things and to know these things about the university, because outside of the university family, the benefits of this unique milieu you have all experienced are not well enough understood. Indeed, even when they are understood, they are sometimes also feared. And there is no better explanation for the cause of that fear than this observation, again, by Bertrand Russell. And it echoes words you heard in Dr. Calamai's speech. Here is Bertrand Russell. Men fear thought as they fear nothing else on earth, more than ruin, more even than death. Thought is subversive and revolutionary, destructive and terrible. Thought is merciless to privilege, to established institutions, and to comfortable habits. Thought is anarchic and lawless, indifferent to authority, careless of the well-tried wisdom of the ages. Thought looks into the pit of hell and is not afraid. It sees man a feeble speck surrounded by unfathomable depths of silence, yet it bears itself proudly, as unmoved as if it were Lord of the universe. Remember just how this quote ends. Thought is great and swift and free, the light of the world and the chief glory of man. You are all the products of an institution devoted above all else to thought and curiosity. And paradoxically, your ability to shape a stable, healthy, and equitable nation in the future will depend on the degree to which you have learned and internalized the corrosive, subversive power of that supreme faculty, thought. That's my message to you. I hope you will turn the power of your own minds on it as you leave here and on the prospects for us all in the future. Congratulations and my warmest best wishes to every one of you.
Congratulations to the class of 2015. As a fellow McMaster alumni, I'm looking forward to seeing where you all go from here. As Mr. Cowan eloquently said, you're all now graduates and members of this wonderful group of alumni. And as Dr. Calamai clearly pointed out, you become that as soon as you walk out of this room. And congratulations, Dr. Calamai, on your accomplishments. Now, I don't know about you, I'm always, as I listen to the citations given, amazed at what one individual can accomplish in their lifetime. And then I step back and think, but Dr. Calamai sat where you sat 50 years ago. I am sure it didn't cross his mind that he would be up here being honored for what he has contributed to society. And it says what you can do when you use your innate talents and the knowledge that you acquire to move, to challenge, and to work forward and advance your community. What we also appreciate is that Dr. Calamai has never forgotten his alma mater, and we very much appreciate that. And Dr. Dean, you've given us a lot to think about. And as I listen to it, I go back, and some of you appreciate possibly more than others. I've been following what's been happening in Greece, all right, which is highly dysfunctional from both a political and financial perspective. And one of the things that caught my attention that perhaps the scientists here would appreciate more than most is they have a finance minister who has been teaching the theory of games. Game theory is his specialty. Now, all of you would suggest that perhaps if you wish to take a theory and test it, you might want to have it in a controlled environment rather than applying it perhaps to your country. And the net effect of what he's been doing would suggest that, a little bit of evidence-based research would have been a very good thing. And it made me think of just how lucky we are being Canadians and doing this. But it also may explain why they have the education minister they have. He came in with this new government and decided to change many of the reforms that have been put into place. So he eliminated entrance exams, he eliminated any discipline about how you finished courses and got your degree. But what shocked me the most was his statement that he made publicly that he really didn't endorse the concept of excellence in education. And again, I get back to the fact that I am very grateful I'm Canadian. We've benefited over the years from a government who actually honestly believes in education. I think we're now entering the debate as to what is excellence in education, and Dr. Dean has raised those issues, I think, very clearly. and your valedictorian and you have very much expressed an understanding of the value of what we've got. And we, as a group, have been just absolutely fortunate to be associated with an institution that firmly believes in excellence in education. And it's something that I think we understand, we value. And all I do is endorse Dr. Dean's comment to you that you need to take it up. You've got to stand for what it is that has made this country what it is, that's made this educational institution what it is, and has allowed you to blossom. It's something that you want to leave for the future for others. And so again, I join in this plea to please take up the cause. On that, I offer you all my best wishes for whatever you choose to do, and I wish you all the best. I just have a couple of housekeeping items to tell you about before we close. Immediately following Convocation, a reception will be held for the science graduates and their guests in Hamilton Convention Center, Wentworth Room B and C. Flowers that have been delivered for graduates will be available at the coat check in the main lobby. I would ask that you please remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. Finally, please join now in the singing of our national anthem. After the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.